Testing 1, 2, 3. See if you can hear me okay. Testing 1, 2, 3. Let me know if you can hear me all right. I'm going to go ahead and move this over to the chat. Allow some people to come in here for a minute or two. Okay. All right. Turn this up just a wee bit. There we go. Nice and clear. All right. Howdy, everyone. We'll definitely come in and say a couple of appreciate the support. Tell me who you are. Remember, if you're coming from the private group, it will not post your name here because it's a private group. So if you would, post your name, and that'll help a lot in the chat. And we're going to be discussing here in a couple of minutes here the top 25 pieces of service business advice. Awesome. Good to have you, Doug. And we're going to break it down, but I'm going to give it like a minute or two, allow people to get on here. The numbers are starting to climb right now. Remember, this is live on Facebook. It's live on YouTube. It's live on our fan page. And it's also live on Twitter. So that's pretty cool, too. What's up, Darren? How you doing? And, I did a survey on TMF about the best pieces of business advice they ever got. And I'm going to combine it with what I've already gotten also. How you doing, Jenny? Glad to have you. Appreciate you being here. If you don't mind, maybe you could even post where you're coming from, too. If you're coming from Facebook, if you're coming from YouTube, or wherever. But anyway, back to the point. I'll be starting here in about 30 seconds or so. The point of this is the top 25 pieces of business advice. Now, I put this thread up, and I monitored TMF for probably the last, 20 years. And I'm combining the advice that I've gotten along with some of the best advice that I've gotten from people here on TMF. I mean, we have a lot of smart people on TMF, a lot of good business people. And I feel like we are the premier group, the premier forum. We are the largest forum. We are the largest group. And I feel like we have some of, if not all, the best people in our group. Now, I'm not saying the other groups are bad. They're just different, so that's all. And every group has its pluses and has its minuses, probably including ours also. But if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will believe in you, right? So you definitely got to believe in yourself and believe in your product. And we're going to kind of break that down a little bit as we move on. So we're going to get started. Remember, the title of this is the top 25 pieces of service business advice. Now, I was going to put this in order, the top 25, and go down from the 25th all the way down to the first. But I decided just to go ahead and put it in no numerical order because it's all such good advice. And every piece is another piece of the puzzle to help a service business be more successful. And it's like I said, it's passed on through generations. Some of these people got some of the information from their parents. I know I've got it from my dad. I've got it from other business owners. I've gotten it from motivational books, motivational speakers, you name it. It's just a conglomeration of all the best pieces of advice that I've come across. All right. With that being said, let's rock and roll. Okay. So the first one we're going to mention here, and I like the way somebody put it. They put it a little bit different than I put it. They said, profit is not a dirty word. And I really like that a lot. I thought that was pretty cool because a lot of people and a lot of cleaners in the service business or any service business, sometimes they're afraid of profits. And I can give you a good example of that of myself. I was doing carpet cleaning, for about 10, 15 years. And I decided to go ahead. I've cut my ringer off. I decided to go ahead and start a pest control company, right? Now, for the money I was getting for the carpet cleaning was probably back then, the average ticket was about $200. And it took me, 3 hours probably to do a job, right? Well, when I started in pest control, the average ticket was like $200. But guess what? It only took 15 minutes to do. And I didn't even break a sweat. Carpet cleaning, we all know, we're just sweating bullets. It is 8 hours of aerobics nonstop all day long, right? And I remember feeling bad about it. I'm going like, wow, I came home and I told my wife, I said, I really feel bad charging these people $200. I'm hardly even doing any work. And she said, well, think about it, Rob. You had to go get certified. You're registered with the EPA and the state of agriculture to apply pesticides. And there's a lot of responsibility that comes with it. And on top of it, you have to make sure that you're treating the home properly for liability reasons. And so it's your knowledge that means a lot. So profit is not a dirty word. So don't think of it as a dirty word. Think of it as you deserve to get paid for your knowledge, your education, your experience, your ability. Okay? So that goes a long ways. Remember, profit isn't a dirty word. All right, move on to the next one. I like this one a lot because you'll hear me say this a lot through all my videos on YouTube and Facebook, right? Don't chase money. And I know that sounds counterintuitive to a lot of people. Well, wait a minute. I got in business to make money. Well, yeah, you did. You kind of did. But what I found out is if you're just chasing the money, you will do things that might be unethical, or you might not deliver the proper service experience because you're just thinking about the money. Or you might overcharge a client or take advantage of somebody. And you don't want to do that. That is counterproductive to your company. All right. So I like to be quality and customer service centric, not money centric. And that's what I've always been. And believe me, the money just follows. If you look at Truck Mount Forums and my local carpet cleaning company and restoration company, we crossed last year over 1,000 5-star reviews in my local company. That's strong. That's probably the most in the 7-city district. I'm pretty sure it is. And then on Truck Mount Forums or tmfshop.net, we have it's close to or might be over 7,000 5-star reviews. And that is an independent review company. So we have no control over it. Once you guys make a review, we're kind of stuck with it. And we appreciate that. But see, we've been quality and customer service centric, and the money's followed. I have no complaints whatsoever. So that goes a long ways. All right, that's 2 of them down. We'll keep right on moving. The next one is, somebody made a point today, it was good. It said, it's all about the show. Now, I agree with that. I really do. If you are showing your quality and your customer service, okay? Because you're not just putting on a show and being fake. You're being genuine. You truly care about the customer and the experience you're going to deliver. You care about the quality. You care about the show. And I think when people say show, they think about the dog and pony show. And so in our industry, what do? We put up corner guards. We wear shoe covers, right? We lay down floor protection. We put up a safety door. Why do we do those things? Because it creates a perceived value. And anything you can do to raise that value in the client's eyes, and you feel better about yourself too, gets you a whole lot more confidence, you can charge more, and rightfully so. I don't really get out, and I don't get out to clean very much. However, grab my pen here. However, I did go out and clean earlier this week because I've been kind of working on my brother's business. Y'all probably know my brother passed away, unfortunately. And so I've been kind of working on his business a little bit. I like to go out there personally and meet with the customers and explain to them what happened to my brother and how we appreciated him. And it's just really good to reminisce about my brother. I really like that a lot, And I was getting set up inside the home after I greeted the client and exchanged pleasantries. And I put up the safety door. And she said, wow, that is really cool. I really like that. Now, you see how that resonated with the client? It builds perceived value. You have to realize the client doesn't always see these type of things that you do. And it's the little things that make a big difference. So that's going to make a psychological impact on her. And if she decides to shop price next time and she uses somebody else, she's going to think back, that was a nice guy. It was cold outside. He put up that door. Wow. You see? So it raises the value. So, don't chase I mean, it is all about the show, but as long as you're genuine about the show. All right. The next one's kind of funny. Somebody brought out, and I can't agree even anymore than what they said. They said, don't be an idiot. And, I have to agree with that. There are a lot of idiots in the world these days, and there's a lot of idiots in maybe in our industry, maybe in the whole service business industry. Okay? Think about what you're going to say. Think about what you're going to do. Think before you act. And why do I say that? Because nowadays people are very sensitive about political things, religious things, and personal things. And you could say something stupid, okay? And that could damage your whole relationship with that client. And so what value is that? You just destroyed your value in that client's eyes, or you lost the client, or you got a bad review, and it snowballs. So don't be an idiot. Think before you speak. Think before you act. Now, we all make mistakes, and there's nothing wrong with apologizing. Okay? If you make a mistake, apologize. But sometimes you cannot undo the damage completely, even if you apologize. So when you're inside of a customer's home, try to be as kind and considerate and maybe neutral as possible. My motto is I like to become like the customer. If the customer is talkative, well, then I'll be talkative. If the customer's really quiet, I'm going to kind of be the same. I just mirror the client to a large degree. If the customer's got a lot of energy, I'm going to deliver a lot of energy. I love to mirror the client. Okay? So don't be an idiot. Let me tell you what, if your client is spending good money, they're educated enough, they're not an idiot. And unfortunately, the food, the air, the water, some of the medicines, all types of things are kind of lowering our IQ, or at least it's said to be lowering our IQ. With food additives, preservatives, things that are in the water, maybe fluoride, things like that. I'm not saying it's all true, but I tell you what, we do have a country full of idiots, don't we? So it's coming from somewhere. Seems like people were more educated and more civil in the past than they are now. And maybe that's because of social media. I can't say what it is. However, the key point is just don't be an idiot. All right? And this is a good one because I always say this, and somebody brought it out again today. Have a good accountant and a good lawyer. Okay? Now, why is that? Well, you need a good accountant to help you make sure that you pay your taxes properly, to make sure you know your numbers properly. Okay? You need to know what your profit and loss statements are. It'd be nice to be able to get that and figure out exactly where you are, and then we can drop anything or pick up something or readjust your business as you go along. Okay? It is your measuring stick, your accountant does. However, something you got to be careful of, most embezzlements happen where? With accountants or bookkeepers. So you need to understand your accounting. You need to keep a check on what's going on also. There was a large manufacturer in our industry that got embezzled $650,000, put them right out of business. $650,000. That was by their bookkeeper. So keep that in mind. The other thing was make sure you have a good lawyer. And, you just never know when maybe a slip and fall or, maybe you damage something. People are just, they're lawsuit happy these days. All right. And even better, if you want to take it even further, take a master course on law. That's what I did last year. Took a couple of them. Loved it. So a good accountant and a good attorney goes a long ways into having a successful service business. All right. The next one is stop thinking about your competitors. And I know that's easier said than done, but I want to tell you what, I am shocked at how many carpet cleaners, how many pest control operators, and how many different service providers, period, think about their competitors. You're wasting too much valuable energy and too much time on thinking about your competitors. Remember, you are unique. God made every person unique. So you're already different. So you're already set apart. But it wouldn't hurt you, and I've got written down here, to know your value. Feel confident in yourself. Feel confident in your abilities. And if you have confidence, the customer has confidence in you. And generally, customers are loyal, sometimes to a fault. They will stick with you even if you don't do the best job sometimes, just because they like you, because you're a unique person and they feel comfortable with you coming inside their homes. Let's face it, our homes are our most private places of all, and you've been invited in there. So that is a privilege. And if they found that value in you, then you should find the value in yourself also. And I'll tell you something my brother Keith told me before he passed away. I mean, it was probably about 10 years or so ago. I just think about competitors some, I'm guilty of it. We all are to a certain degree. But, thinking of your competitors just puts you in a bad spot. But I rarely did, but sometimes I would, because we see these low prices, $5 a room. Oh my gosh, I can't believe they're $5 a room. You know what I mean? We knew they were bait and switch, and customers are falling for it, and they're spending $500, $1,000, $1,500. They're being baited on a low price, and they're being switched over to a high price. We hated that, right? And rightfully so. But rather, you're better off to stay focused on all the good things you do, and your customer will focus on that too. They'll learn. Once burned, twice shy. And once they find a good service provider, man, they grab a hold and they don't let go. So be that good service provider. And as my brother said, hey, Rob, don't worry about the competition. God made plenty of dirt go around for everybody. And you can't put it any simpler than that. So stop thinking about your competitors. Think about you delivering a better quality service. Okay? Now, leading right into that, somebody mentioned, don't underestimate the value of networking. And I couldn't agree more. Build strategic alliances. You go back to all my past videos, many times I've said, build strategic alliances with other businesses. I can't tell you how many carpet cleaners I ran into who said they didn't do water restoration, but they went to a water restoration company and said, look, if I get a water restoration job, would you mind if I turn it over to you and maybe give me a little bit of profit? But guess what? That's usually what happens. And on top of it, they'll take and give them the carpet jobs they don't want. Hey, that is a win-win. Or you got another carpet cleaner, even in our area here. I know that there's a couple of carpet cleaners. One guy's truck went down, his truck mount. Another guy lent him his van. More power to him. So it's nice to have those strategic alliances and network. Think about different things that kind of work along with your industry, whether it's duct cleaning or something like that, anything. How about interior decorators? Okay. So there's so many areas you can network in if you start thinking a little bit and exercise your thinking and critical thinking skills, right? Okay. Here's a good one here. Don't start or stay with low prices. A lot of people feel like they have to start off with low prices to get going. That is pretty much a fatal mistake, because you've already got expenses and equipment and marketing, your advertising, your chemistry, everything, and then your vehicle, your insurance, your business insurance. You've already got a lot of expenses built up. So figure out your expenses and your cost of doing business and hold your dollar. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with offering a first-time customer discount to get inside the door, as long as the customer understands that it is a one-time discount, and then when they see your quality, they see your service, customer service, then they're more than likely are going to repeat with you. But don't undersell yourself. Try to hold your prices up there so you can stay in business. I know some of us, it's very tempting to start off with low prices because you're looking at that. But remember, everybody's down here at the bottom. But we really all are eventually trying to work up and get what? The top tier clients. And the top tier clients know they have to spend a little bit more money to get higher quality, right? All right. Next one is know your ROI. I am shocked when I traveled the country for the last 2 years in my RV, how many cleaners do not understand their return on investment. And one guy I was talking with, he actually took and he had a big commercial account, huge commercial account. I mean, it was like, I don't know, between $50,000 and $75,000 a year, along with his regular business. This was his commercial account and his residential account. And he really loved that money coming in, right? However, when he actually sat down and did the numbers, guess who got him to sit down and do the numbers? His wife. His wife said, look, you're working in the day, you're working at night, you're killing yourself. All right, let's sit down and figure out where we could get rid of something. All right. Now he was thinking, or she was thinking, they're going to get rid of some of the day work. Guess what they found out? They actually were losing money on the commercial account. Losing money on the commercial account. So they got rid of the commercial account. His life's been a whole lot better. So make sure you know your ROI, okay? And, get rid of anything that is not giving you a good ROI, a good solid return on investment. Now, there's nothing wrong with donations or doing a charity or every once in a while comping a clean. I'm sure many of us have come across homeowners that might be in very dire straits, maybe terminal cancer, maybe lost a child or something like that. And I know of people who have given a free service to the client. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, okay? And that's still a good ROI because good Lord's looking on. He repays you. You're not bragging about it, and you shouldn't. And also, that customer's going to probably be a cheerleader and tell everybody about you. Even though you weren't doing it to show off, you did it out of the kindness of your heart. So be genuine if you're going to donate or you're going to offer, a service and no charge to a client on that rare occasion. All right. Okay. Service is a people game, not a money game. Kind of crosses over what we said a little bit earlier, but it's really true. It is a people game. It is about building relationships in the service business. Now, maybe, some of these online services, even sometimes with, if we use a big company like Amazon, at least they do back up everything they do, but you're not really contacting a person, right? But when you're offering a service business, you're actually going to a customer's home. You're delivering a service. So now you are in the people business. So you better develop some people skills. If you got to read some books, whatever it is, open up, develop some business skills. And the key to having a good personality is just be genuine. People can sense when you're being dishonest. They can sense when you're lying. So tell the truth. Be genuine. And they can tell if you really care about their furnishings. They can really care if you really care about their pets, their family, their home, everything. They can tell. So be genuine, truly care, some of my clients I have done them, their children, and their grandchildren. Give them my HOA, right? So, because why is that? Because they know they trust me and they know I care about them and their family. And one of them has a problem and I feel for them, okay? There's a difference between sympathy and empathy, all right? So get to know your clients, build a relationship. It's a people game first, and then the money, like I've said earlier, will follow. All right? This one's good. Find your niche. And you always hear me say, niches lead to riches, right? There's no doubt about it. And I don't want to mention this person's name without talking to him first, but there's people in this industry now who are known maybe as gurus or looked up to or influencers and stuff like that. And they would call me and ask me for advice. And one of them, called me at least once a month or so, and we would talk. And he had did a little bit on a hardwood floor. And he said, what do you think of that? I said, well, after listening to you, I think you found your niche. I think you should pursue it. And now he's pursuing that, and he's doing really well in the wood floor industry. So you see, you got to find your niche. And to find your niche, sometimes you have to talk to other people, or you have to get out of your comfort zone. Because you might just have these horse blinders on you just looking at one thing, something you just started off with. But, keep your eyes open to opportunity. Keep your eyes open to what feels good to you, what you enjoy doing, or what you're really good at. Find that niche. Niches lead to riches, right? I'm a big believer of that. All right, the next one is never put all your eggs in one basket. And I would say that means everything. So diversify your whole portfolio. I don't care whether it's your investments, whether it's your training, whether it's your diverse services. Don't put it all in one basket. I've said this before that, in the wintertime, we're real busy with rug cleaning. And carpet cleaning goes down some. That's just normal during the cold weather. I mean, if it's, freezing and snowing outside, the customer's a lot of times going to wait till it's not snowing to give you a call, right? So it's just normal for that to slow down. Not all places in the country suffer from that. I'm kind of jealous of the people on the West Coast and, California and probably down in Florida, right? Which is probably where I'm going to end up one day. But don't put all your eggs in one basket, and that's even true with, the problems. Remember, look at some of the banks that are going under in the last couple of years, right? Many banks have gone under. I don't know how close you paid attention to it. So, move your investments, move your money, and maybe spread it out a little bit. All right. Diversify your whole portfolio. Never put all your eggs in one basket. If that goes down, I've seen guys have just one huge account, commercial account, and they never bothered to branch out a little bit. And what happened to them? Boom. When they lost that account, they either went out of business or they were crying for a long time and had to start building. And it's a lot harder to do it that way than have a good account and build around it. That way you have something to fall back on. So never put all your eggs in one basket. The next one is take calculated risk. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you're not taking risk, guess what? Your competitors are probably taking risk. So take calculated risk. Educate yourself first. Don't just go foolhardily forward, okay? Count the cost. I'll give you a good example because I did most of my advertising back in the Yellow Pages days, right? And when the Yellow Page guy come around, it would be like a little ad, maybe a quarter page of an ad, or maybe even less than that. But let's say a quarter page of an ad might be $300 or $400 a month, right? And then a full page could be up to I'd say $2,500 a month. Yeah, maybe $3,000 a month, something like that. I think it was $2,500 a month. It might have been $3,000. And then if you wanted to do what's called a double truck, which are 2 pages, then that would be $5,000. So, that was an astronomical amount of money in the 90s to have $5,000 a month. But when the sales rep came around, I listened to him and he said, listen, not in your industry, but in the pest control industry and in the HVAC industry, guys are having, I forgot what you call them, remote phone numbers. And we tracked it. And let me show you what their ROI was by being in the front and having 1 or 2 full pages. Look at the differences between that and the quarter page. I said, all right, let me see it. So I looked at that. I looked through it and said, well, $5,000 a month is really risky, it seemed like. But when I looked at the numbers and I started to break it down, I said, wow, you know what? That actually might work. So I took the risk, and guess what? It paid off handsomely. And I even went over to the pest control and did the same thing. My phone rang off the hook. We were so busy, I couldn't hardly breathe. And we had, 5 trucks out on the road nonstop. And we probably had, 3 or 4 pest control trucks on the road at the time. We were just jamming. And that was before TMF. When the internet came along, I kind of moved over to TMF. And now my business just kind of on cruise control. But you notice I took that calculated risk and I jumped. Most people stayed with the small ads. 95% of people did. 5% took that calculated risk and it paid off. Paid off great for me. I have no complaints. And I invested my money wisely. And so it makes a big difference. Now, so take those calculated risks, but make sure you calculate them first before you do it. All right. Next one is have an exit strategy. Most people don't have an exit strategy. I know a cleaner recently who sold his business. He turned 60 years old. I don't know him well. I just know him from reading about him and seeing him on the groups. He sold his business for $1 million. I think it was a 3-truck operation. It was mostly commercial. He had contracts, and it was a small business administration loan the guy got, and he was able to show through the contracts it was worth that. But he said even though he was doing $1.5 million a year, and making, $500,000 a year profit, $1 million doesn't sound like that much to sell. But he said he had built his 401k for, I don't know, a couple of decades or more. So you put all that together, he could retire with that $1 million and just enjoy himself. And that's what he's doing. But you notice he had an exit strategy. What's your exit strategy? You're just going to work until they pry the wand off your hand? Hey, if that's what you want to do, that's great. I know there's some cleaners on TMF that are in their 70s. There's one that's 83 years old. I guess he'd be 84 this year, still cleaning. And he enjoys doing that. There's nothing wrong with it. So you have to decide, though, maybe he's got enough money put away. Maybe he's just doing it now because he enjoys it. He enjoys meeting people. Maybe he has to. I don't know. Either way, you should have an exit strategy. All right. So think about where you're going to be. And I know a lot of you guys are young. You say, oh, that's far off. I'll tell you what, getting older comes real fast, a whole lot faster than you think it does. So you better have an exit strategy. Either that or you're going to end up in an old folks' home. Yeah. I don't think that's going to be very fun now, would it? And it didn't go over too well. Look at COVID. What happened to people in the old folks' home? Not even going to go there. That's a whole nother subject. All right. So have that exit strategy. The next one is learn marketing or hire a marketing firm. If you're going to grow your company, you're going to have to learn how to market. There's just no way around it. Okay. And, get out of that comfort zone again and read some books, do some studying, stop scrolling on the social media, going through all those little videos and stuff like that, or if you're going to, at least type in how to market. If you're going to be on, TikTok or Instagram Reels or Facebook or YouTube Shorts, at least go in there for marketing and learn marketing. And so that way you can learn to market and advertise your business. Because if you don't advertise it, nobody's going to know about you. You're not going to get the jobs that you want. Now, don't get me wrong. Quality workmanship speaks for itself. And if you want to stay small, hey, more power to you. All right. But you do need to at least learn marketing, learn advertising. Because I'll tell you what, every year, I remember carpet cleaners would call me and say, hey, Rob, how's business for you, man? It's kind of slow over here. They've been in business 15, 20 years. They forget, business comes in cycles. But they also never learn the market. So they stress out when there's no jobs. So will you stress out when there's no jobs? Learn marketing. Okay? Or hire a marketing firm that's reputable. And that's not easy to find. So do your due diligence if you're going to hire a marketing firm. And that kind of leads into the next point here. And that's either get big or stay small. And I know that kind of sounds, well, that doesn't hardly make sense, one or the other, but it really does. Getting in the middle will kill you. It'll kill your profits. It's just very indecisive. Well, I don't know if I want to grow bigger. I don't know if I want to stay smaller. Know yourself. Know your goals. There's pros and cons to both. Okay? Just set yourself up in either one of them. Just make a decision, for God's sake. That's the big problem today. Hardly nobody's able to make a decision. But there is power in decisions. It really is. Once you decide to do something, then you can go full force, put all your energy towards it. But I tell you what, it brings you down to a very low vibrational state when you don't make a decision. You're just kind of stuck in indecision. Indecision is a decision in itself. It's a bad decision. So decide, do you want to be big? Do you want to be a multi-truck company? Well, then you have to do multi-truck company things, and you have to learn how to run a multi-truck business. And that's not an easy task. But if you break a leg, something goes wrong, well, business keeps right on going. And you don't have to be on truck cleaning all the time if you don't enjoy cleaning. On the flip side, if you decide to stay small, that's cool. You don't have to worry about the headaches of growth. You can keep it small, keep your bills low, and it just reduces a lot of stress in your life. So there's advantages to both, but it's a killer to be in the middle. So stay out in the middle. Either get big or stay small. And there's nothing wrong with either one of them. Let's see. Did I already? You know what? I got a repeat on here. I want to rock right through that, okay? Yeah, just act like that wasn't there. A little repeat. But this was a good point. And it goes back to the ROI again. So I will kind of mention this because there's something I wanted to mention in this right here that I think is really, really important. And, it's not It's not your income that determines your wealth sometimes. A lot of times it's your outcome. So watch your expenditures. Don't spend money on stupid stuff. That goes back to don't be an idiot. Okay? Spend your money, spend your time, spend your energies, spend it wisely. Okay? Because you only got so much time, you only have so much energy, you only have so much money. Make sure you put it to the right place. And, you know, this does fall under the ROI a little bit, but I'm going to give you a good example of not knowing your numbers, how it can hurt you. I used to go to Myrtle Beach, so I still do, because I got family down there. And my father-in-law had a relative there who, I guess he's related to me, was related to me, and just a distant relative. He owned a big camera shop there. Camera shops were big in the 90s, really big, 80s and 90s, maybe 70s too, probably. I don't go back that far, but I know in the 90s, camera shops were really big. And he was doing $1 million a month then. That was his goal. He's, I got to do $1 million a month. I got to do $1 million a month. I got to do $1 million a month. But even though he's doing $1 million a month, he might not have been making maybe $25,000, $30,000 a month profit off of it. So, it's not always your income. Sometimes it's your outcome. But he lived like he made, millions of dollars. He drove the fanciest cars, did the coolest things, took the fanciest trips, had the best of everything, with his clothes and everything, and you went out of business. So, don't live outside your means. Try to stay within your means and spend wisely, because if you don't, it can ruin you. There it goes back to again, don't be an idiot. All right. I could spend money on a lot of stupid things. I could probably drive a pretty fancy sports car right now. I could do a lot of things. See a lot of guys taking a lot of trips or jumping on cruises and stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. If you got that excess income and you want to do it, and that's how you need to decompress and regain yourself, cool, all more power to you. But just don't spend it on stupid stuff. That's all. And don't spend what you don't have. Okay? That's very important. Don't spend what you don't have. All right. And then next is delegate and elevate. Okay? I really like that a lot. Somebody brought that out today, and he said, delegate and elevate. And this guy built a national business, and that was his philosophy. That was his best advice that he had to have. He said, do what you do best and hire other people to do the rest. If you're, no offense to my employees, but I'm here and I'm running Truck Mount Farms, right? Well, I've got a lawn to cut. I've got things that have to be stocked up. I have things that have to be shipped out, right? If I'm down there in the shipping, or I'm out there cutting my grass, or I'm cleaning the shop, I'm not doing what I do best, where I could hire somebody who could do that while I'm doing what I do best. And that's promoting my business. So find out what you do best. And if you're making, if you're making $100, $200 an hour in your service business, right? Does it make sense to do something that you could hire somebody to do for $15, $20 an hour? Okay, so where is your time better spent? So, like you said, delegate and then elevate. All right? Pick people to do the other types of things that you're not going to be doing. All right? The next one is, we're down to about our last 10 here, so hang tight. Appreciate everybody's participation. And I will have an AMA after, and appreciate everybody coming in and saying hi. And thank you for mentioning this is good advice, things like that. All right. The next one is consistency is key. Consistency sounds easy, but it's not always easy. You might be having a bad day. You might be having machine problems. You could be having all kinds of problems, but you got to be consistent. I don't know about you, but if I go out to a restaurant, right, and I've come to enjoy high quality service and great food, and I might go 99 times, but then the 100th time I go, I have a bad experience. The food is terrible, and the person's got a bad attitude. I'm not going to go back there again. Okay? There's too many other choices out there for people to have. So be consistent. Don't let your personal problems, because let me tell you what, everybody's got personal problems. If somebody tells you they don't have a crap show going on inside their life from time to time, they're lying. Everybody does. Be consistent. When I get up to the home, I put away any type of problems that I might be having. I keep thinking about, how can I help this client? And it's actually therapeutic too, because you're not thinking about yourself or your problems. You're thinking now how to solve the customer's problems. And that's why they had you out there in the first place. So remember, consistency is key to any service business. So be consistent. Very important. All right, next one is don't expect what you don't inspect. If you are a business owner and a service provider and you've got people working for you and you don't inspect what you've come to expect from yourself or from them, they're probably not going to deliver it. People are like electricity. Sometimes they take the path of least resistance. So you got to add a little bit of resistance in there and let them know, hey, listen, this is what I expect. I expect these standards. So I'll call back some of my clients. I will go visit them, just kind of do a little surprise visit. Say, hey, how's it going? Going to say hi to the client, stuff like that. I'll also read my reviews. So you see, I'm inspecting what I expect. And you have to do that. You have to hold firm to your own principles. Don't be a hypocrite. Set the example. Make them follow your example. And, if they don't follow your example, move on. Just that simple. Just that simple. All right. The next one is friends and family, and I've said this many times before, are not your best clients if they're your clients at all. I can't tell you how many people come on and say, or service providers say, I can't believe they're using so-and-so next door. Well, I don't know about you, but I don't want my neighbor, coming in and going through my whole house. All right. I might have them over to dinner, but I'm not going to have them going through my whole house. That's my personal space. And it kind of violates your personal space. And don't be offended. God knows everybody's so offended these days. I mean, we have a nation of sissies, to put it nicely, So don't be a baby, be a man. Man up. Woman up. Don't be that way, That just really, really irritates me. That just gets under my skin. I don't get mad if my friends or my family don't use my service. Sometimes it's probably a blessing because they're the ones going to probably complain the most or something's bound to go wrong. It's the weirdest thing, okay? So look, let them be. Give them their space. They want to use you? Great. They don't want to use you? So be it. Shut up. Stop crying. Stop whining. Go out and build your customer base elsewhere. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? It's a free world, at least to a certain degree. At the moment, it's still a free world in America. So people have the right to choose whoever they want. Don't be offended by it because you know what? They're going to pick up on it. And as long as you're in that negative vibrational state, it only hurts you, hurts your relationships with everybody else, including your neighbors, your family, everybody. Stay elevated. Stay in a high vibrational frequency, okay? Let's face it. We are electrical creatures, and you need to stay in a positive, not in a negative, all right? Don't be an idiot. It's like we said earlier. Don't be an idiot. All right. This is a really good one right here. That's why I kind of saved it towards the last. You, as the service provider, do not decide what's expensive. Let me say that again. You, as the service provider, does not decide what is expensive. The client does. Okay? You are not your client. A lot of my clients, one I just did last week, where I did a lot of filming in, they let me use their beach house. They have I think it was 5 to 8 beach homes around the world, not just in America, around the world. I'm not my client, okay? And I can't tell you how many homes they own in this area. And I even do his own home, which I've been doing for about 25 years. I go to his house one time, and it looks like a beautiful luxury home, right? I go over the next time. He took every door out of his home, and instead of having square doors, he put in round doors. He probably spent, $500,000 on this house, just making it the way he wants. So you are not your customer. And he bought the best of everything. Those doors were so heavy, I couldn't believe it. And the work and the tile and the floors and the stone and the marble. It's just amazing what he did to that home, right? He paid a good dollar for it. He had the dollar. So you are not your client. All right. So you don't decide what's expensive. Let the customer decide. So hold your price. I can't tell you how many times in the past I've had customers tell me, oh, that's all? Oh, man, am I charging too low? Obviously, you probably are. They perceived my value to be much higher. And I didn't even recognize my own value at the time. I don't have people say that now anymore, but in the past they would say that, oh, is that all? I said, hey, man, I guess maybe I'm not charging enough. But see, I was delivering that knock your socks off customer service. I was delivering that mind-blowing quality. I was being personable. I was being genuine. I was caring about the client. I was diligently working. And the customer knew they couldn't do a better job. I got a message the other day because one of my employees, I was coming back from when I was filming in that beach house down in Sandbridge, Virginia Beach. If you ever get a chance to go to Sandbridge, it's a great place. And yes, this is live. Somebody asked, is this live? It is live. I'm just not answering it because I like to stick to the podcast. And then after that, I'll be glad to do any AMA and go through the questions and talk. All right. So, and have an interchange. But what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So I got a message that one of the employees said, look, hey, Rob, is there any way you could do a house for me? I just sold this really big house and I would really like it if it's possible that you could go out on your way back. It's on your way back from where you're at, or you get one of the other employees. But everybody was slam busy. I said, you know what? So in 2 areas, I'll be glad to go do it, And he said, by the way, put in the notes, this customer likes to watch you. And, and I could tell it might have grated him just a little bit because he said the customer follows you through the whole job. Well, it never bothered me that customers watch me because all they're going to see is high quality. Okay? Hey, knock yourself out. Do you think it bothered Michael Jordan to be watched while he was playing basketball? No. He didn't care. He was out there delivering the best performance he possibly could. So anyway, I get to this house, and sure enough, this guy is all up in my grill everywhere. See, I'm a bubble there, bud. So I got him outside of my bubble, and here I am. I'm starting to clean. I'm starting upstairs in the master bedroom. He had a master bedroom and just a set of stairs he needed done. That's all he needed done, right? And believe me, I charged him a good $1 for it. And anyway, he had put skidders under the furniture, right? He had chest of drawers under the bed. He had skidders. And he said, and I said, hey, do you want that chest of drawers moved? He said, yes, I do. I said, well, go move it. He was taken back by that, but that's just how I thought about it. I said, look, you go ahead and you move it. You got the skidders on it, slide it over. I'll do it back and you put it right back. I'm not in the moving business. All right. And I said, guess what? You don't have to move the bed though. I hit the swivel wand. I'll get right up under it. Well, after I had him move a couple of things, guess what? He disappeared. He stopped watching me. He saw the quality of the work that I was doing, how I double clean, double dry, took my time, set up everything correctly. He knew that he had a top line premium professional inside his home. And he didn't want to have to work. So I thought that was kind of funny, So, don't, like I said here, don't decide what's expensive. Let your customer decide. Okay. And that kind of goes right to the next point here. It says, hold your price. If you're worth it, don't be afraid to say no. Now, I'm not saying if you're slow in business that you can't offer a percentage off, but try your best to hold your dollar, because if they talk you down one time, they'll probably talk you down another time. But I understand in the wintertime, I saw somebody mention up in here, they're giving 20% off for the winter. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. That's what you want to do. And that's what it takes you to survive. And that's the offer you got to make. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Go ahead and offer it, but try to keep it to a minimum and let the client know that it is either a one-time thing or it is something that you do a certain time of the year. Okay? Nothing wrong with that. And try to keep it at percentages more than anything else. Hold your price. You're worth it. Sounds like a TV commercial, right? You're worth it. Didn't L'Oreal or somebody like that build their whole brand on that? Because you're worth it. So they would spend extra money to get the products they want because they felt like they were worth it. So the client's worth it and you're worth it. Hold your price. I like this other one. Somebody brought this out on the forum. It says, no one, and I've said this before, but I don't say it like this guy said here. I thought he put it very succinctly. He said, no one cares, so work harder. Okay? Nobody really does care about your problems that you're going through. They got their own crap show of problems, okay? So you don't put your problems on them. Don't unload. You want to be positive. You want to be upbuilding. You want to be happy. Even if you're not, be it that way, okay? So no one really cares. Just get your butt in there and work harder. And, if you're going through some problems, hey, everybody gets roadblocks in their life. Go through those roadblocks. It can get frustrating if your machine goes down. You might lose pressure. Something breaks. Something doesn't go right. Maybe you slip and fall. I fell inside of homes, but I don't say nothing to the client about it. I just get up, do my thing. I've fallen down a set of stairs before. I've slipped on a hard surface before. Or I've tripped over something. It's rare, but it does happen. Especially when you're moving and you're hustling and you're getting things done, right? Or you got to get to the next job. So pace yourself, do a good job, break through those barriers. What's going to really set you apart from your competitors is that you are capable of delivering when they can't deliver. All right? Because a lot of people just give up, go home. Oh, I'm done. Just such a baby. I've had employees do that in the past. Well, I can't take this. I'm out of here. I'm going like, how's that going to help you? How's that going to help the company? How's it going to help your problems? All it does is compound your problems. So don't unload your problems on your customers. She didn't call you to listen to your problems. She called you, or he called you, to go ahead and take care of their problem. Their problem is their furnishings. They want their furnishings back to normal. They want it back clean and healthy and sanitary. Then they just want you to be nice and get on down the road. Okay? So keep that in mind. No one cares, so work harder. All right? Now, here's the very last one. The very last one is, this is what I always say, the ABCs. Always be closing. Okay? Now, I know a lot of people feel like selling is a bad thing. Selling is not a bad thing. Selling is the lifeblood of your company. It's the lifeblood of a service business. I can't tell you how much I do in sales each year, but I can if I go back and I look at my House Call Pro, because it's right there. I can look at how much protector we've sold or sealer. I can tell how much urine treatment that we've sold, how many, any extra above the tickets we've done, how many estimates I've closed on commercial buildings, stuff like that. I can go look at all that. And I tell you what, we have an extremely high close rate because I'm always closing. I'm always looking for opportunities to sell and to offer my diverse services or my capabilities. I'm keeping my eyes open to opportunity. If you just go around with the horse blinders on, you're not going to see, hey, you know what? They might have dirty tile. How does their bathroom look? How does their kitchen look? How do their countertops look? If you do ductwork, do they do ductwork? So there's so many things that you might miss that you're not thinking of. Or if you don't have a UV light to look around and inspect. You should always be closing, always be selling. Everybody is selling themselves in one way or the other. You sold yourself on your mate or your girlfriend or your boyfriend, right? You sold yourself on them that you were good enough and you would like to be in a relationship with them. So you're selling yourself on the client. I can't believe how many people think sales is a bad thing. And the one thing that sticks out to my mind, what I always tell myself, the last thing that will go through my mind when the customer was opening the door. Every single time. This was always my last train of thought. I tried to be happy, confident. I'm pulling up. I got my truck looking good. I'm well uniformed. I'm looking good. The last thought that goes through my mind, when I know I can hear him walking to the door and about to open the door, I would always say to myself through all the years, I would say, timid salesmen have skinny children. I really love that line. I believe it, don't quote me, but I think it was Napoleon Hill who said that in Think and Grow Rich. Don't quote me on that. Maybe somebody can help me out with that. But I'll never forget that line. Timid salesmen have skinny children. So I wasn't going to be afraid to offer other services. I wasn't going to be afraid to offer protector or deodorizer or extra rooms or their upholstery or whatever a service that I could offer. Now, would I throw it all on one time? No. We live in the day of educated consumer. I would educate them. Oh, by the way, Mrs. Jones, when was the last time you had your upholstery cleaned? Oh, I've never had it cleaned. Should I? Haha. Now I got the education. Now I'm going to sell them on it nicely and kindly, and maybe even do a demonstration. So always be closing. Sales is not a dirty word, just like profit is not a bad word. I started off with profit and I ended with selling and closing. Okay, the more you close, the more profit you make. It just makes sense. You can make so much more money. Give yourself a raise. Sell sealer. I mean, if you just sold sealer at, if you're doing 3 jobs a day and you're closing 1 or 2 jobs and you're doing it at half the price of the job and you've got a $300 or $400 average ticket, there's an extra $150, $300 a day. 3 times 5, $1,500 a week. Who of us here who would not appreciate a $1,500 a week raise? Do that for the whole year, and that adds up to be quite a bit of money, doesn't it? Quite a bit of money. So give yourself the raise. You deserve it. The client deserves it, but you have to be sold on what you are selling, or you can't sell it. You can't really close on it. If you don't believe the sealer works, hey, test it. Get a paper towel, dip it in half of it. Watch what it does. Watch how it beads. The last job I just did, I sold to the customer on it. I told them, I said, how did I put it? I said that, if you're, it basically cuts your footprints in half. If you're walking on it 3,000 times before I come back, it's like you walked on it 1,500 times. Oh, I'll take it. Just like that. But the first line I'll always say, and here's a nice little tip for you, okay? The first line I would always say is, oh, by the way, Mrs. Jones, would you like me to replace your protector while I'm here? And then I go quiet. Oh, ding, wrenches her head. Oh, wow, I need to replace my protector? Oh, well, how much is that? Or what's involved in it? So that gives me, that's the opening. So once she says the next word, that's where I can move on from there. And then I'm offering her something that's going to extend the life of her furnishings because I'm going to raise the perceived value. If they don't see the value in it, you don't see the value in it, you probably aren't going to sell it. So when I hear people say, well, I just can't seem to sell sealer, I can't seem to sell, urine treatment, it's because you don't believe in it. It starts with you. All right? Always be closing. All right. Somebody said I just sold them. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. That is the top 25 pieces of service business advice. This will be podcast number 3. Remember, it's generally almost always at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in Virginia Beach. That's why it's Eastern Standard Time. And it's in the Truck Mount Forums Carpet Cleaning Professionals private group. It goes live. It goes live in the TMF Truck Mount Forums fan page. It also goes live on our YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. We're putting out a lot of video content this year. Got a lot of new shorts and a lot of nice longer videos and very high quality videos. Take a look for yourself. And we're also now live on Twitter. And we're working on Instagram. So there you go. And there's copies of this. It will be on Spotify, and we're working on now getting it onto Apple Podcasts too. So when you guys are out working, just plug it in, put it into your ear pods. I don't know about you, but a lot of times when I'm working, I like to listen to something. You might as well listen to something productive. And I'm going to bring some very productive things. I tell you what, I'm not going to announce it right now, but I got something really cool. I'm bringing on a special guest. I will be bringing on a special guest throughout some of the podcasts. I got a special guest next week and a fantastic topic. You don't want to miss it. That's going to be next Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, I'm going to pop through some of this right here. Yes, Adrian, it will be on YouTube, and that's awesome. Cool, I found this by accident. Now remember, tell me who you are when you say if you are making a comment, if you would put your name on it, I appreciate it, because some of this is coming from the private groups. When it's a private group, they do not put it up there for privacy, so I'll know who you are when you say it, okay? Ceramic coating is expensive for appliances, but it's a great upcharge. Premium coat. Yeah, I agree. I like that a lot. There's nothing wrong with that. It will be on YouTube. I watch all your videos. I appreciate it. Oh, man, thanks. And you love them all. Awesome. Appreciate that. Thanks a lot. Speaking of sealer, I need to buy more of your sealer. Rob Solvent Sealer. Can't go wrong. It's a fantastic sealer. Thank you. I appreciate that. Like I said, come on here and if you tell me your name, that will go a long ways. Thanks for the solo stove. That's Bill. I'm just Bill. No problem, Bill. No problem. We appreciate you. Okay? Really do. Richard Manders. How's it going, Richard? Great information, Rob, from Richard Manders. Keep warm. Brr. It's cold here in the bipolar world. No, I'm just kidding. I try to tell a joke every week, so I hope you like that one. My brother Tom always said, Brr. It's cold here in the bipolar world. Glad you got to see me, Rob. That's what my brother would say. My brother Tom. He's a funny cat, man. Tell you what. Really funny guy. So it has been cold lately. We've had to keep the heaters, or I've got my box truck. I'm here at my shop right now. I've got the box truck sitting in the shop here right now. So that's pretty cool. All right. Great information. Appreciate that. Good advice, Rob. Good to hear that we carpet cleaners are in a good business and all have similar issues. It's really a great industry and career. Yes, it is, Michael. No doubt about it. It is a great career, and it's been very good to me, and that's why I enjoy giving back. I'm a big believer. You always hear me usually generally close my videos in it. I'm a big believer in the law of reciprocity. If you help other people become successful, they'll help you become successful. And you're right. Let's face it, we all got problems. So we just kind of work through those problems. And if we understand what the problems are, they're a lot easier to deal with, aren't they, Michael? No doubt about it. Let's see. Somebody asked, was this live? And yes, it is live each week. I think it adds a nice little flair to it when it's live rather than being pre-recorded. It's more genuine. It's more impromptu. And I think that's important. I don't know who said this, but if you could come in and tell me who said this is hilarious, because they posted from the private group. It says, I hire friends and family so I can yell at them. That's just horrible, but I like it. That's just terrible. That's humorous. I don't care who they are. I tell all my neighbors use somebody else. So do I. I cannot agree anymore. I do the same thing. I'd appreciate if you use somebody else, but I don't quite say it that way. I try to be nice about it. I just say, well, I'm kind of busy, or they ask me, well, what I think I stand on the steamer. Hey, it seems like you're okay company. Go ahead. Enjoy yourself, All right. All right. Tons here to still learn. Networking with top quality will help you get great results. Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, and you're right. We should always be learning. Always be learning. Bob Linnaeus. Hey, Bob. Hope you and your family are doing well. We're going to get back down here to Florida soon. Look forward to doing that. And I'm not fasting anymore. I don't know if you know I was fasting back then. Generally, when I fast, I could cut 10, 20 pounds, 30 pounds. And I think I've probably gained those 30 pounds because I have not been fasting. Generally in the wintertime, I don't fast, but in the summertime, I like to fast. Fasting is good for you. Really cleans out your body. It really gets your mind, gets your clarity. And I really like that. With the work that I'm doing here, it's helping me to build a business in Colombia. Oh, Walter's in Colombia. Glad to hear that. What's it like in Colombia? Tell me a little bit about it, Walter. I'm 50, and what we're doing, I'd like to retire at 56. Hey, see, you got an exit strategy. Good for you, Walter. Good for you, man. If you know what the human mind can't conceive, it can't achieve if it only believes. And so, Walter, apparently you believe in it. But I'd like to know what it's like in Colombia these days. Do tell, please. What's your opinion, Rob, on billboards, and have you done them before? I've never done a billboard. I've never really saw the value in it, but some people do. I think billboards are more for brand awareness. It's not really a call to action. CTA, a lot of people are really big on call to action. When I was doing advertising back in the day, I wanted to be able to get the call to advertising, get the phone ringing. Okay, so it's a call to action, like, direct mailers. Hey, you get 10% off today if you sign up by a certain time. That's the call to action. So I don't see that in billboards, but I'm not saying it doesn't have its place. I would just do my due diligence if I were you. Adrian, great advice. No problem, Adrian. I appreciate that. Thank you. Walter said, I started with carpet cleaning, but sadly it didn't work out as I thought. Now I do regular cleaning for business, residential, and carpet and upholstery, and we're doing well. Only because I decided to do more. You see, hey, nothing wrong with that. That's fantastic. You see, Walter, you found your niche. And niches lead to riches, right? All right. Let's see. Somebody says here, last 20 years in the cleaning industry, my goal or recipe for 2024 is no more residential, only commercial and industrial. Hey, more power to you. If that's what works, that's what counts. Hey, Gilbert, we met in Las Vegas, and I got a TMF shirt. Nice, Gilbert. Hey, send me a picture, my friend. Send me a picture. And we'll be back in Vegas again, I guess, in September. Look forward to that, God willing. Here's a Facebook user says, we ran a 20% off every February. Jeremy Vandergooten said, I'm buddies with all the owner-operators in my city. Good for you, Jeremy. Good for you, man. This guy said here, this happened to me. My van broke down on my local competitor. Let us use his van. That's amazing. Really amazing. Well, I like this name somebody's got here. Better than ever, Carpet Care. Hey, Rob, what are your main lead sources currently? Have a good show, man. Appreciate that. I would say it's probably Google right now, but most of it is probably working my past clients. That's a goal of mine. So I go through House Call Pro. We drip back postcards to all of our customers, at least every quarter, I believe it is. All right. HVAC businesses are blowing up right now in my area. A lot of money is made in that industry. I believe there is, yes. Some of the richest people I know in my area I play golf with own HVAC companies and pest control companies too. So there's a lot of money in. There's money in everything if you're willing to work hard at it and be good at what you do. Wow, there's a lot of comments here. So getting back to Walter here, see, do you think, somebody asked here, do you think wood floors are taking out carpet? No, I don't. Wood floors have always been with us. I think that all things are cyclical. Bob Willinea said, we'll find another great restaurant to try when you get back. Awesome, man. Like I said, I'm in the weight gaining mode right now. And, I usually stay around 175 pounds. But when I fast, I can get down to 160 pounds. Right now, I'm 185. So it goes to show that I can vary quite a bit from fasting, because I think everybody carries a lot of weight around. But for the most part, 175, 180 is where I really feel comfortable. I'm about 5'11", 6 foot with shoes on, I'd say. But that's about my weight there. Okay, Colombia is beautiful. Bogota, is that how you say it? It's cold, but Carta. I'm sorry, I can't say that. Is always warm. My business is going to be in Bogota, and if you like, we can always travel. Hey, I would love to come down there, Walter. I hope it's relatively safe. I mean, we hear stories up from America, but gosh, sometimes America ain't that safe, right? I'd love to come down and visit a cleaner down there. So I've traveled America for the last 2 years. I would love to come down to South America. So if you think it's a good time to come, let me know when it is. I'll definitely stop by. Maybe you can tell me where to hang out and some things to do. That would be cool. Kevin Wood, I'm nervous about cleaning in the cold. What are some tips to keep my equipment safe? Hey, keep it warm. Take in your solution lines the last minute you can. Keep those inside. If you got a direct drive, that always helps. But if you don't, you got to be careful. If you're going to heat your machine up, keep at least one door open so the machine can breathe. And you got to be careful of carbon monoxide. So, but I would let my machine warm up, and I'd leave my van running temporarily. I know they say you shouldn't run a slide in and run your van at the same time, but it really doesn't hurt anything. Okay, go ahead and run them both. Warm it up, let it warm up. Maybe while you go inside and you're have an extra key so nobody steals your truck, because that's happened to people. I ate well last time. Yeah, I know. My wife loved that food. That restaurant you took us to, Bob. My wife loved that restaurant, man. She loved it. She's dying to go back there. Naples, one of our favorite places. We'll probably end up moving down there. It's just a matter of time. We're going to come. Matter of fact, we're going down for the month of February, all through Florida again, to look around for another residence, by the way. We're going to turn into snowbirds, at least, or move there permanently. We haven't decided which one yet. So, I think it's just using common sense, Kevin. I don't know how cold it is in the area. It doesn't get that cold in our area, but I have had things freeze up. So definitely keep it warm as you possibly can. If you've got if you can run a heater at the same time in the back of your truck, that's kind of cold. So some guys have got it set up where they've got a 110 in the back of their truck, and that helps quite a bit. So you just got to use common sense, and you might want to come into the Facebook group or the forum and ask that question, because there are a lot of cold weather cleaners. Guys who are up in Massachusetts, Vermont, Minnesota, Michigan, North Dakota. Yeah, I just get cold thinking about it. And that's not going to happen. Can't see myself going there. But Walter, however you say your last name, I'm sorry, Walter, is Aurelana. I'd love to chat sometime. Private message me. I'd love to talk to you on the phone. That'd be cool. Clean Easy Carpet Cleaning in Huntsville, Alabama. So it's freezing here. Huntsville, Alabama, 12 degrees yesterday. Ouch. I didn't know it got that cold down there. Virginia Beach, we're having a cold snap right now. And it's about 40 degrees in the daytime and probably 20s at nighttime. That's very cold for us. Usually it's at least 40 or 50 degrees here, maybe closer to 50. So that's not too bad. Very seldom do we get snow. Walter says, Columbia coffee is good and the land great and the women beautiful. I like all that, but I'm married. But my brother Keith, that's Keith, not me now. My brother Keith would always say, hey, when he was married, so I like to look in the menu. I just don't order, Rob. All right. Okay, that's fine. I think all people are beautiful, so I would love to come down here and visit. No doubt about it. That's awesome. But Kevin, definitely go ahead and put that up in there. I'm trying to keep this, as close to an hour as possible. Generally, I do a half an hour. Hey, guys, remember, don't forget, we're going to really have a good show next week. I'll announce the guest. Just want to verify him 100% that he's going to be in here next week, and it's going to be a fantastic subject. And remember, go to Spotify, go to Apple Music soon, or go to YouTube. You can go ahead and play this. Just listen to it while you're walking around. Mark Payne, thanks, Rob. You're a great inspiration, the godfather of carpet cleaning. Thanks, man. I appreciate that, Mark. That's very kind of you, man. I just like to help other people, man. This industry's been very good to me. I've got a lot of energy, so I like to move that energy back into the industry because the industry has been very good to me. I can't complain. I mean, I've lived a good life through my years, having a full basketball court in my backyard, driving Toyota Supra twin turbos, taking nice trips, living in a beautiful home. So I cannot, and free time to be with my family and stuff like that. The industry has been very good to me. So I really want to give back to that. And it's very rewarding. And this is just the next step. Every year I try to progress and do something different, get outside my own comfort zone. I tell you what was hard. What was hard was learning law. Oh my gosh, law is hard. Man, I'll tell you what though, I loved it. And if you love something, I will say this to be a fact. If I had to do all over again, I would have been an attorney. I really would have been an attorney. I'm going to tell you what, there are a lot of bad attorneys out there. A lot. It's like carpet cleaning. There's a lot of bad carpet cleaners out there. So if you're able to go ahead and set yourself apart, you can really excel. And I know as an attorney, I could have set myself apart. I'm not saying it's too late, but it's too late. Let's see, Josh. What's up, Mr. Allen? Thankful to you, brother. I appreciate that. Thanks, Josh. I'm also thankful for you guys too, man. Thanks for, being a customer, for being a friend, for being an associate, for being a colleague. And, if you can make it to the trade show, I will be in the one in Tennessee. I will be in Florida. I will be in Myrtle Beach. I'll be leaving here probably next week or so. I'm waiting to get Starlink put into my RV so I can continue to do this. My son's getting Starlink set up inside my RV so I can continue to have my podcast. Got to take my lights and all this stuff with me and set it up inside my RV. And I'm going to travel down 95. So if you're along 95 to Florida, then I'm going to spend the whole month in Florida going to some key spots that I've already been to before and kind of looking around a lot closer to see if there's something or a place we're going to get another residence. I should say that. All right. Well, if there's nothing else here, I appreciate everybody. I'm going to scroll back up and see if I missed any questions. Let's see. I am not going to any other trade shows. People were mentioning any trade shows. I'm going to the Experience. That will be in Tennessee. I will be the other trade show in Vegas, and that would be in, that'll be in the trade show. First one in the springtime is in April. Will be in Tennessee. And the second one was always in Vegas. That'll be in September. I'll be there. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. I appreciate you coming in here. I hope you enjoyed this information. I hope you get a chance to listen to it later if you're late coming in now because I am all done. And I'll try to get on here sometimes and just do a little bit of yes, I will be coming back down to Naples again, Bob. So look forward to getting up with you guys. No doubt about it. We'll definitely stop by and go out again. That'll be great. We'll be more prepared this time. A lot more prepared. You're welcome, Mark. I did go to, somebody mentioned here, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. Cortez is your last name. Cayetana. It's a cool name, by the way. I did go to Napa, California or Napa, however you want to say it. I did go there and I really enjoyed it. And we look forward to going back out to California again after we go to Vegas in September. So if I see you're on YouTube. If you want to email me at roballen@truckmountforums.com, give me your address and I'll do my best to stop by. Love to meet you. All right? Love to meet you. Chris and Pam, hey Rob, how's it going? It's going fine. I am just now leaving. I've been in here for like an hour and 15 minutes, so I've gone like 15 minutes over what I normally do. If you want to hear this, you can, it'll be loaded up on YouTube in about 15, 30 minutes. You can go ahead and watch it if you want to, or you can go to Spotify. You can go ahead and listen to it through a podcast. Let's see. Daggone it. Questions keep coming. Mr. Allen, what's the best advice for marketing? I cannot finalize a sale for some reason. Josh, how about emailing me at roballen@truckmountforums.com, because I'm going to cut this short and head to bed, giving away my age, right? So I'll be glad to answer that more. And maybe I should do a podcast on that. I think I will. I think I'll do one on marketing and selling. I think that'll go a long ways. So keep that in mind. I'll work on that in the next few weeks. But next week, it's going to be a really great show. Make sure you tune in. I'm Rob Allen with Truck Mount Forums. Have yourself a great day.